Leeds United's transfer business has always been a sort of subject of contention for fans. We will look at deals and always look to see what the problem is with it. How are we getting shafted? Because we've never been particularly good at it, specifically in the loan market. Now, for the past, you just got to look at examples of us getting Joe Gelhardt wrong and taking far too long to send him on the right loan, where he's massively developed now, doing really well in the Championship and will probably move permanently to Hull. You've got to look at the case of Sam Chambers. Would he have benefited for a move a little bit earlier to develop to become a little bit more of a senior footballer rather than just an under-21 that is very, very good? You've got to look at the fact that when it comes to loans out, the majority of it has been senior footballers that go away because we can't sell them permanently. But in this video, I'm going to talk through how I think we're doing significantly better when it comes to loaning out players at the minute and what that will mean for the future of Leeds United. Before I do so, I'm just going to do the whole like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, but also a very quick look at the sort of big bits of news that have happened over the last day, because I didn't get a video out yesterday, sorry about that. Perfectly timed from the baby that made the noise. That's the reason why. But we have a couple of bit of news that happened over the last few days. First of all, there was the bid that Leeds reportedly made for Batch Arena. A few people misread this. Leeds made the bid in December. The news didn't come out until just now from Fabrizio Romano. It wasn't very widely reported at the time, which means that people were confused that it got reported right now, but I feel like it's a thing from Batch Arena's agent to say, look, this club's interested, but in reality, I don't think we're going to go back in at the very least until the summer, because looking at the situation we've got for Facundo Buonanotte now, we don't need to sign him. In addition to that, I've heard over the last day or so that Leeds are more likely to go back in for Jurgen Strand-Larsen again. We know why, because we are one of the clubs that are most in for him, have the best chance of doing it, and we will potentially have news over the next few days on whether or not that succeeds. That's the sort of general gist that I've heard. I thought I'd cover that off before I get into the main topic of the video. Now, I think Leeds have had a very, very positive recent shift when it comes to loan transfers, and I think it's very much worth a little bit of conversation because I've got like 3 different examples of loans that are working to our benefit as we speak. The first of them being Lari Ramazani. Lari we knew wouldn't really play for us this season. He didn't particularly have the profile that we wanted at the start of the season, and there was the whole personal stuff that happened behind the scenes, which wasn't fantastic, let's be completely honest. But in any case, we either need him to develop as a player so we can use him next season, or we need him to put himself on a bigger stage right now so we can sell him for a bit of a profit. He's gone to Valencia, and this weekend alone, he has massively drawn a lot of attention to himself, helping to create an opportunity to win a penalty for Valencia that won them the match, scoring said penalty, and ultimately doing a little bit of aura farming with his backflip and really sort of making himself friendly with the crowd over there again. That increases the chance of selling him, which we wouldn't have necessarily gotten because we didn't have anyone wanting to buy him permanently. On that note, Matteo Joseph is another one of the loans that we need to talk about. I think we all know who the third loan I'm going to get into is, but we've got a lot more detail on Gray, so I'm saving him for last. And Matteo was sent out on loan to Mallorca specifically because they didn't want a clause to buy him permanently. And the idea being he'll go over there and he'll develop, and if we keep Daniel Farke, he might reintegrate with the squad. If we don't get rid of Daniel Farke, if he stays at Leeds United, then Matteo Joseph has at least gone away, gotten more minutes, developed a little bit, which he very clearly has because he's played both as a centre-forward and a left winger, which improves the chance of a sale at the end of the season. Ultimately, it kept all of the sort of doors open. It gave us plenty of options and was the better way forward. He's doing reasonably well at Mallorca. He's part of the reason that they're not in the relegation zone right now, which is a pretty damn significant thing to be involved in. Admittedly, he's sort of been kicked out of the role of centre-forward, but that's not the fault of Leeds United. That's the fact that he's not really been good enough to make that position his own, which, fair enough, that's going to happen sometimes. But at least he's consistently playing, developing as a player, so we can either profit financially or as a part of the squad. I'll be honest, I think we're probably best just selling him at the end of the season anyway, because if we do get Strand-Larsen in, there's going to be no need for Matteo Joseph, and as I'll get into in a minute, I don't even think Matteo is our best sort of young prospect up top anymore, because Harry Gray has also gone out on loan, in his case, to Rotherham. Admittedly, very different level to Mallorca, but he's got like 4 years of age difference or something like that to Matteo Joseph, so I'll let him off. But the important thing with that is Harry Gray hadn't played any senior football before he went out to Rotherham. He'd played like half an hour at Leeds. And sure, under-21 stuff is great, but when you are looking too good for the under-21s, which Gray was, then you get into a position of, okay, so what do you do to develop now? And the only way that you do that is get senior football, and he wasn't going to do so at a Premier League level. So we sent him to Rotherham at the bottom of League One. And he's played a sort of weirdly fluid role there. I had a look through as much of their match against Wimbledon as I could. And he popped up on little bits on the sort of left wing, played down the middle quite a lot, a little bit of a 10 creator kind of role. It's like he's got a free role in that squad to just do what he needs to get their side forward. And he's been a massive part of that front line. He was really unlucky to not have an assist from the left, firing a ball across the 6-yard box. For some reason, no Rotherham player able to get their foot on it, but in addition to that, unlucky to not get a goal a couple of times as well. He's been ridiculously good since he moved there, and the reviews coming from Rotherham are insane. Specifically, and I've got some quotes here, a level above with his reading of the game, and he can already handle himself physically. Remember, this is a 17-year-old playing in League One, which is a fairly crunchy league to begin with. Another review of him was that he was the best player on the pitch by a mile, and it's genuinely, in terms of the loan strategy, what we've been missing for quite a long time. Being able to send a player out so they can just improve in the background, pull them back in, reintegrate them. Maybe Gray gets a couple of appearances off the bench next season. Maybe he plays in the Championship instead. Who knows? But we know that he's a player that is going to improve now because he's going to learn the lessons of League One. And yeah, sure, he might not get a big goal return or a big assist return. But if he does, that's just even more of a sign of his quality. But it's not the quality that we need right now, it's the development. It's the improvement. It's him becoming the player that we need him to become. And that isn't possible in the under-21s. No one even related to this conversation wants Harry Gray to be sold off to Spurs or to Man City or anything like that for any sum of money, because losing these youth prospects isn't what we need immediately. But then you look long term, and this is why the loan thing I specifically mentioned is something that we need to do for the future of Leeds United. Sorry, I've got hiccups for some reason, which is really good. This video recording is going spectacularly. And it specifically relates to the sort of investor decks that were leaked by The Athletic a while back that referred to the way that Leeds are going to invest in the academy, try and pluck as much talent as they can from all of West Yorkshire, little bits of Lancashire, anywhere they can. Get the best of young football and get them in the Leeds United academy. And sort of add on players like Jayden Lainu that we got from Liverpool to add as much pure ability as we can and get Leeds in the best position that we can to have strong youth sides, but also loan these players out. So, as was mentioned, we can make a big youth sale every 1 to 2 years so the academy continues to fund itself, and we can use the funds from that to improve the amount of transfer budget we have available for the senior side. But not only that, we can continue the youth recruitment and we can expand into the northeast, into Lincolnshire, into the Midlands, into bits of Lancashire that maybe Liverpool, Man City, Man United aren't picking up on, and ultimately take as much advantage as we can to make not only profit but to improve the playing squad, because that's ultimately what matters here. Leeds have been too bad at using using loans out for far too long. And the more time and effort we put into sorting this out, like we are with Harry Gray, like we are with Charlie Crew, who did reasonably well at Doncaster, came back, but I imagine he'll go out again. And we'll ultimately find out what happens when Leeds are actually using our youth to the best of our abilities, rather than using them a bit, but them not breaking into the senior squad and being too good for the 21s and ending up like Sam Greenwood, like Joe Gelhardt, not earning the club too much money back and ultimately being a little bit of a letdown. Anyway, that was just a few thoughts that I've decided to rattle off in the form of a video. I might do something of an Everton preview in a little while, might be as a live stream throughout the day at some point, I don't know. I'll be on Joe's stream over on Big Up for half time and for a pre-match, so head over there, that'd be fantastic, it'd be good to see you over there. And yeah, gonna end that there. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Doodaloo.